Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and trying to fix my lighting here, see if I can't get my lighting a little better, but I think I'm gonna just give up and say that's the best I can do. But anyway, it's Kathy here. It's Friday, so I have a Christmas project for you, a Christmas card, a fancy fold. We're gonna use what I call some happy Christmas product. We're gonna use the Be Jolly stamp set and the Holly Jolly Wishes stamp set. Now, for the Holly Jolly Wishes stamp set, we're just going to use this one, A Merry Christmas to You. So I'm going to just take that and put it right here on a block and get that ready. And then here with the Be Jolly, you can see I've cut a bunch of pieces out that we're going to use. So, and I've already colored them and stuff just so you don't have to watch. Really what I did was I stamped a bunch of these images on a piece of basic white cardstock, and then I colored them with the blends, and I'll show you which blends I use. Let me grab some of these. We need a couple of birds, we need a star here. But anyway, then I colored them, and then I put it through my brother's scan and cut, and just had it scan or cut out a bunch of them, and that way I put them in my little dish, and then when I need them, I have them. I don't have to stop and color and prepare them. But let me show you which blends I used. For the Santa Claus here, I used the Real Red on his suit and hat. I used just Daffodil Delight Dark, and I think this is the dark and the Real Red, but let me, yeah, I think I used dark on all of them, but Real Red Dark. I didn't even blend, I just colored them. If you watch my blog, you know coloring's not my strong point. I used the basic black dark on his belt, and I used the petal pink on his face, and then I don't know if you can see, but his cheeks have a little bit of highlight, and I just used the Flirty Flamingo. Then on the tree, I used the red, the yellow, and the dark balmy blue, and then some, I think I did use, no, I used the dark crumb cake on the trunk of the tree here, and then I used dark garden, or no, Granny Apple Green to color in the tree. And then, oh, and the light I used on one of my birds. I want my birds kind of two different colors, so I used the light and the dark on my birds. Of course, the red on his hat and the yellow on his beak. And then I did bring in, no, which one? Light crumb cake. Maybe I did color this with the light crumb cake. I don't know, one of the two. You'll have to experiment and see which color you like. I think this is the light crumb cake, but it might have been the dark on the trunk of my tree. But there's the blends I used to color all my little pieces and parts. And then we're also going to use this Be Jolly here from this stamp set. So I'm going to take that and just put that on a block. And then when I put my stamp set together, because when you come, you know they don't have the stickers on them, just so I could show you how I put the stickers onto my stamp set. So the stickers come like this. I take these out. Now I've already taken, it has this white coating on there. I've already taken that off. But then I just take my sticker here from the sticker sheet. Well, maybe I do. It's stuck pretty good. There we go. I take the whole sticker off and lay it right here on my block. And then I'm going to remove that backing. And it's always cut or split down the center, so it's easier to remove. You just want to be careful when you're using something sharp that you don't tear your stickers. I'm going to take those off like that. And then lay my stamp here like this. And you know, I think it'd be easier to see on a dark piece of paper, so I'm going to bring in some of this Real Red that we're going to use on our card. And then I just hover like this, and you can see, oops, here, let's get up where you can see. You can see the sticker through the block. I might have to get my head in the camera. And then you just lay it down like that. And look, every time now, your stickers are just perfect on your block. And then to get it off, I just kind of take my thumb at the corner here and kind of roll it off like that, so it doesn't ruin your stamp, it doesn't mess up the sticker. But that's how I put my stickers on my stamp sets, so just so you know. Okay, let's go on to making the card. Let me show you what the card looks like. The first one I did looks like this, right? How cute that one is. It's a fancy fold. I'm going to use this, what's this called? This Heartwarming Hugs Designer Series paper. I think it's very playful and fun, just like the stamp set. It has all of these red and green, wait, there's another one in there. And now I've used some of them, but it has really fun, playful cardstock, or I mean colors and patterns. It's designer series paper, but even the back has all these fun patterns on it too. But that's what we're going to use. And on this one, I use this pattern. Today we're going to use this stripe pattern like this. And you can see I have a bunch of little pieces here, and I'll try to get you all of those sizes. But if I miss some, or if you miss some, you can always go to my blog, becreativewithkathy.com, and all the measurements and the correct measurements will be on there. Okay, we're going to start with a piece of Real Red. Let me get my paper trimmer here, because we're going to have to trim it down a little bit. This is a half a sheet. So this is 4 1/4 by 11. Like I said, I just took my 8 1/2 and cut it in half. But now we need to cut it down. It needs to be 9 3/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to take it here to my 9 3/4. And I'm going to just cut this edge right here. Whoop. Right off, and now we don't need that. We'll set that aside. I'll use it some other time. Now I'm going to put the 4 1/4 at the top here, and I'm going to put it at the 1 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to look at my settings. Now you can see your settings on the side. You might not be able to see it on camera, but I can see it. And I'm going to put my cutting blade here at, let me start over. I'm going to set it up at 1 1/2 and put my cutting blade here at 3 inches. Like that, and I'm going to cut down to 7 1/2. And like I said, you can see the cutting measurements over here on our paper trimmer. So now I have a slit in my paper right there. Like I said, started at 3 and went down to 7 1/2. Then I'm going to put the 9 3/4 inch at the top. I'm going to get out my blade again, or my arm again, and I'm going to put it at 3 inches, and I'm going to score from the top down to that cut mark. And now if you look this way, there's a little mark on my blade over here that has a little, well, it has a little gauge that shows exactly, so you can go down to that score line down there. Okay, then I'm going to move my cardstock over to 5 1/4, and I'm going to do the whole thing, that, and then I'm going to move it to 7 1/2, and I'm going to go from the bottom up to that cut mark. And just like that, now we have our paper all ready to go. So like I said, well, you'll have to rewatch the video. And if you don't want to rewatch it here, you can always rewatch it on my YouTube channel. I have a channel with all my videos on there too. But let's go ahead and we're going to fold this on that 5 1/4 inch line. I'm going to be really careful to line my cardstock up on the sides here so I get a straight fold here. And then when you open it, you want this part to go back, and then I'm going to fold this little score line right here and kind of push it so this doesn't fold here, but this does here. And look, then we have it like that. And making sure, whoops, I didn't do very good, that it all lines up. So all of my score lines and my card isn't cattywampus. It's all straight now. I'm going to turn it over and get the back. But now we have a card that looks like this. And so when you open it, it goes just like that. Fun fold, right? Make sure you stick around to the end of the video, or to the end, yeah, and I'll show you some other cards that I've made with this one. Let me bring this one back in so you can see what we're going to do. So now here's where I have all these little pieces and parts of cardstock. This here is, like I said, this is Real Red. This is Pear Pizzazz, both colors that are in our Designer Series paper. I have a piece of Pear Pizzazz here that is 4 by 2 3/4. So then I have a piece of Designer Series paper that is 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. So that's just 1/4 of an inch smaller. Whoop. And I'm going to just lay it right here on my Pear Pizzazz. And then this piece is going to layer right here in the front. There we go. How fun is that? Okay, so then I have a piece. In fact, I have 2 of them here. These are, let me make sure I got it right, 2 inches this way by 1 1/4. So then my Designer Series paper is 1 inch by 3 3/4, and it's going to lay right here. Whoop, then I moved it crooked. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. And another piece, because we need 2 of those down at the bottom. of our card here. Let's open this up, and I'm going to just take those and lay those right here. I'm going to get this one out of the way. I changed my mind. I need room to work. Put those right there, and the other one right here at the bottom. Okay, then I have 2 pieces of Pear Pizzazz. Now these are 2.5 by 2 inches. I only have 1 piece of Designer Series paper that's cut a little bit smaller, 1/4 of an inch in fact, so it layers on there. So this is 2 1/4 by 1 3/4. We're going to layer him right there. And then I have a white piece. So on this card, this is where I would write my greeting to whomever I'm sending my card to. So then the white piece is the same as the Designer Series paper. It's 2 1/4, yeah, by 1 3/4. And then I'm going to just layer that there, and then put some adhesive here. Let me get that off my table, and some here, and layer these right here. And you can see from the score lines where they go, but this way now you have more sections here. Then the last section here, the Pear Pizzazz, is, drumroll, 4 inches by 2 inches. So that would make my Designer Series paper 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. And I'm going to layer that right here, and then just put this right here. And there, now we have a start to our cute card. Nice, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and decorate a little bit. So take all my little pieces and parts that I have here, and I'm going to take my Santa Claus here and put some dimensionals on the back of him. Well, and while I'm at it, I think I'll put the dimensionals on the back of my tree. And my dimensional here, I'm going to have hang off the top. We'll see if I can, because I want to add, nope, I'm going to have to add a different one. I thought I could hang the, I'm going to use a mini dimensional here. And I'll have a little mini dimensional like this to where it hangs off the top, and that's how I'll add my tree, or I'm sorry, my star to my tree. And now my star is held on by that little dimensional. That's better. And then with this little light blue bird, I'm going to take another mini dimensional and put one on him. So Santa Claus here, we're going to just place right here. He is so cute. This is the cutest stamp set. I have fallen in love. And then my little bird here, I'm going to just set right here, checking us out. And then the little tree, I'm going to put in here on this right here. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to take some of my Wink of Stella, and I'm going to color and give that tree just a little bit of bling on those ornaments and that star at the top, and that gives him a little bit of character there and bling. Okay. Excuse me. Now it needs, oh no, first before we do some stamping so it has time to dry, I'm going to take some of my liquid Tombow. Maybe, nope, you know, that one is out. I keep trying, I should just throw it in the trash, but I can't seem to. I'm going to just put a little bit of liquid glue right there. And I'm going to let it dry just a little bit. I'm going to set that aside, and let's do some stamping. So I decided I couldn't decide between the Mossy Meadow and the Real Red ink, but I think I've decided I'm going to go with the Real Red. I have just a couple scraps of white cardstock here. I'm going to bring in that Merry Christmas to You stamp. Ink it up really good. I have to practice once. Let me find a scratch paper. Yep, looks good. Okay, let's go ahead, and I'm going to just stamp that right in the center. Hold that down, let that ink sink in. There we go. And then I think on another piece of scratch paper with that Be Jolly, I'm going to just come in here toward the bottom. We'll see if I can get it straight. And just stamp that Be Jolly in that same red. And really that's the only stamping we need. With my paper trimmer, I'm going to just trim that Be Jolly as close to the stamping as I can. So we'll go like that, and then we'll turn it this way, and we'll trim them down again. Looks pretty good, but I want to make sure that it fits in that, and we got to take a little bit off this side. There we go. Let's see how he fits. I might have to trim a little more. Nope, but I think that looks really good right there. So let's just take some tape and adhere that right there. And that little, perfect. And then let's take our die cut machine. Now I'm going to use, this is the Hippo and Friends die set. It goes with the Hippo and Friends stamp set. But I love all these layering dies, and I'm going to take this, the middle one of this here. And now what I like about these dies is that it stitches it, so it doesn't really have to have an outline or a frame. Because sometimes we like to have that layer, and I think when this is stitching on the dies, you don't need that layer. And on this card, I really don't have room for the layer, so that's why I'm going to use these dies. But I'm going to lay this. So I have my platform number 1, my platform number 2. I'm going to use my mini cut and emboss machine. I think I have that set up just where I want it. I'm going to layer that, bring in the little machine, and just run this through. Just as simple as that. Oh, and I think it moved and I might have cut. That's all right. If it's not perfect, I'll make it look good with my little bird. Oh, no, I think it looks really good. Look, I did do okay. There we go. I'm going to put this up on dimensionals too. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and take a mini glue dot, maybe. Up here, they are right here. Take a little glue dot on the back of my bird. And let's see, where do we want our little bird this time? Yep, I think I still want him right up here. There we go. So remember, I put that glue on here to let it dry a little bit, and I have these little pom-poms. Now I just bought these at the craft store. I've had them forever, so I can't even tell you what size they are, but they're itty-bitty, and since this glue is somewhat dry, it's going to hold that pom-pom really nice. Just like that on Santa's hat. Give him some character. Let's add our greeting to the front of our card, and then we'll see how he turned out. I'm going to lay this right here, just about center, maybe a little higher than center. How's that look? Looks pretty good, right? So there we go. So there's our card. Fits in an envelope, and then when you open it, it looks like that, and it sits up on someone's desk or up on their mantle. Is that not adorable? Just so you know, I got the layout of the card from Dawn Griffin. So Dawn Griffin, thanks for sharing. I think she did it like a year ago or so, but I saw it and thought it was cute. I thought it would work on a bunch of different stamp sets. So this is one stamp set. Let me show you some other cards that I've made using other stamp sets. So this one is, now I'm going to forget the names on too, the cabin. And the dies, look how pretty that card is. Now I left this blank. This is where I'd write my greeting, although it could kind of look like a full moon if it's at night, and I kind of like the way that laid out. That's the designer series paper, and the dies and the cabin and the little fox. I mean, it's just a cute. This greeting came from the deer stamp set bundle. Let me show you what the deer looks like in a card like this. To me, this one's very bland and kind of simple, but sometimes that's what we need. And you open it up, and it looks like that. Now this one, I used the cherry cobbler and the early espresso. I thought that was more of a deer, kind of subtle kind of colors. And then of course I did have to put the little bling on the nose to make him look like Rudolph. So there's that one. And then last but not least, I used the Wonderful Snowman, Snow Wonder, I don't know, something like that stamp set. It looks like this in the blues, and I thought that was really cute. And here again, I used some of the stamp sets from the stamp set, the Snowman stamp set, and then this one is from the Deer stamp set. But there you go. So there's lots of ideas you could use for this layout. Plus, I'm sure there's just a ton more. These are the ones I have for you. If you ever need any of the products, I sell them at my online store. It's kathyhouse.stampinup.net. You can find all the measurements, like I said, on my blog, becreativewithkathy.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here on Monday. And I think my plan right now is to do another fun fold. So have a great weekend. Bye-bye.